Great new day to all my self-care family and friends. Welcome to another episode of the Room to Breathe podcast. I'm your host, Life Coach 614, and I am thrilled to have each and every one of you here with us today. Whether you are tuning in for a dose of inspiration or just a moment of calm, you're in the right place. Now, before we dive into today's episode, just a quick reminder. If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to tap the screen, like, comment, and share. Your support helps us to connect with more amazing people just like you. And if we're not friends already, be sure to give us a follow, subscribe to our channel, so you never miss out on our latest content. No matter what challenges you are currently facing in life, remember that you are not alone on this path. We're all in it together, supporting each other and uplifting each other every single step of the way. It is time for us to choose to prioritize our well-being, to embrace our growth, and to find peace in the present moment. So let's get ready to breathe, reflect, and grow together.
In the quiet moments, that's where I'll find a little room to breathe, leave it all behind. Give me room to breathe, I need some time to heal my heart, to clear my mind. Gonna love myself, yeah, I believe in the power of me. Just give me room to breathe.
Alright, so our topic of discussion today is the Addams family self-care values. Self-care is something that I think people always take as something soft, right? Some sort of pampering activity. But if you ask me, self-care is more like an art form. It is an art form that demands discipline, self-respect, and maybe a touch of darkness. But let's be clear. Self-care is more about survival. It's about knowing what keeps you strong, even when the world insists on breaking you down. So let's start this conversation with talking about boundaries. People often talk about boundaries as if they're some sort of accessory that you put on. But boundaries aren't just nice to have, right? They are as vital as the air that we breathe. If you don't set them, people will gladly walk all over you. And, you know, we've got to get this straight. Like, boundaries are our personal shield, right? It's what protects us from the elements of the world. And so we need to affirm, you know, that we are going to honor our own boundaries, right? We're going to honor them and we're going to enforce them with confidence. And the thing about boundaries is that you don't need everyone else to like your boundaries. You just need them to respect them. Because in the end, no one else is responsible for protecting your energy but you. Now, let's talk about the beauty of solitude. Because I don't know about y'all, but I like my peace, right? And so society is always telling us that connection is everything, that we need to constantly be on, that we must constantly be giving. But there's this immense strength to being alone and spending time by yourself, right? When you are alone, you can listen to your own thoughts. You get to explore your own darkness sometimes, right? And when I say darkness, I mean, you know, the things that we try to bury and keep hidden. It's, you know, there's a beauty in that, having the opportunity to just reflect and to confront things that in other times might scare you, right? Because sometimes there are things in our past that are just a little bit scary. So when we think about solitude, we must understand that solitude teaches us resilience. And you know, there's no shame being your own best company, contrary to what society tells you. In fact, it's one of the purest forms of self-care that there is. And now, let's move on to one of my favorite topics, y'all. Let's talk about saying no. Can y'all try it in the chat? Say no. Make sure you put a period at the end, because no is a complete sentence, right? No is such a small word, but it is so powerful. And society seems to have this idea that, saying no makes you rude or cold or selfish. But each time you say no, there is something, that you are saying no to that doesn't serve you. Right, DJ? We say no to the things that no longer serve us. And that means we're actually saying yes to ourselves. So don't let anyone make you feel guilty. Right? Don't let them make you feel guilty, because you are protecting your time. You are protecting your energy. And so when I think of, an affirmation that we can say to affirm ourselves when it comes to this, we must remind ourselves that my no is a full sentence, and I don't owe anyone an explanation. Yes, DJ. So again, my no is a complete sentence, and I owe no one an explanation. Happy Halloween, Royal Highness. When you are clear about what you won't tolerate, people will learn to respect you. And if they don't, that's not your problem. You just tell them, that's just not my problem. Right, Lou? And another one of my favorite forms of self-care is silence. People seem to fear quiet. Have anybody else noticed that? Like, people fear the quiet. As if they just can't bear to sit alone in their own minds. Congratulations, guys. But I see silence as a friend, right? Because in the silence of my mind, I find clarity. Right? I find the clarity, and in the silence, if you're brutally honest with yourself, right, you start to see things more clear. You start to see things for what they are, right? And so it's in those quiet moments that you can find your strength. And so, of course, if I'm going to affirm, myself with this, something that I can say when the world starts to feel too loud, I would say, I cherish my moments of stillness, and I find peace within myself. I cherish my moments of stillness, and I find peace within myself. Because again, contrary to what society tells us, stillness is not weak. It's a powerful state where you can recharge, where you can face your thoughts head on, and without distraction, without the outside noise distracting you. And speaking of facing things, let's address something else that people avoid. People tend to avoid their own flaws. Right? Society tells us that we have to be positive all the time. We have to be happy, we've got to be upbeat, right? But ignoring your darker side won't make it disappear. Self-care is about embracing your wholeness. And in your wholeness, you must embrace your light and your shadows. It's about knowing that you don't have to be everyone's idea of good. You don't have to be perfect. You just got to be real. So I want y'all to say this with me. I accept myself completely, flaws and all. I accept myself completely, flaws and all. Add that to the chat, guys. I accept myself completely, flaws and all. Because you know what? If we think about it, you guys, we are our own best ally. The world is obsessed with putting a mask on us. Obsessed. And when we begin to prioritize our self-care, that is us choosing to take the mask off. So today I choose to take that mask off, right? And remember this, you don't have to explain your self-care practices to anyone. You do not have to explain your need to prioritize your peace to anyone. And so if there are people who think that you are too much or that you are too different, hear me when I say this. That's their problem. You let them know, if I'm too much, you can go find less, right? Hey, pretty. Because again, that's their problem, not yours. You are allowed to be unbothered by what they think. You are permitted to prioritize your own peace above all else. And so we must remind ourselves that we are not here to meet anyone's expectations but our own. True freedom is knowing that you can exist unapologetically, even if it makes other people uncomfortable. So yeah, self-care can be as simple as a warm bath or a comforting cup of tea, if that's what you like, right? But it's also about taking the time to cultivate your inner strength. Self-care is knowing that you're more resilient than you think, and that you don't need anyone else's permission to put yourself first. It is time for us to honor our own needs, to honor not only our needs, but our strength, to step into our power. We must remind ourselves to be unapologetic in what we do. And remember that it's okay to find peace in your shadows as much as your light. We don't have to hide the dark spots. So go ahead and practice your self-care rituals, whatever it looks like, because self-care looks different for everyone. Right? Whether you have, traditional self-care rituals, or you've got some dark, unorthodox routine, right? Embrace your solitude. Say no without apology. Seek silence. Accept your whole self. And live without needing external validation. Because self-care isn't about becoming what society wants you to be, right? It's not about becoming something that society falls in love with. It's about becoming someone that you are in love with, someone that you can respect. Here are a few self-care tips, Wednesday Addams style, y'all. So expect a little darkness, a touch of sarcasm, and a whole lot of unapologetic self-respect. Tip number 1. I want you guys to start setting ruthless boundaries. Add that to the chat for me. Set ruthless boundaries. Because listen, your time and your energy are yours. So you must protect them like some cursed treasure, right? Because not everyone deserves access to you. Callie, not everyone deserves access to you. So you must guard your personal space and don't feel bad about it. Do not feel bad about it. Number 2, embrace the solitude. Embrace the solitude. Yeah, contrary to what society tells you, being alone isn't lonely. I'm going to say that again. Being alone isn't lonely. It's necessary. See, solitude lets you think. It gives you the opportunity to reflect and to recharge without interruptions. People will always tell you that you should open up. You should go interact with other people. I say, close the door, savor the silence, enjoy your alone time. It is time that we embrace our solitude. That's right, Kale. Being alone isn't lonely, it is necessary. Number 3, say no often and proudly. Say no often and proudly. A simple no can save you from unnecessary exhaustion. And I don't know about y'all, but I be tired. And the more I try to keep up with other people, the more tired I become. So I'm telling y'all, once I learned how to say no, and I said no loud and proud, oh, it felt so good. So again, say no often and say it proudly. With no excuses, no long explanations, just no. Period. If you've already said it once, maybe it's no, exclamation point. Right? It is so incredibly satisfying. So then number 4 would be to practice self-reflection. Practice self-reflection. We talked about embracing our solitude, right? So when we practice this silent reflection and this self-reflection, right? What that means is you must find time to sit in complete silence. No phones, no distractions, just you alone with your thoughts. Because that is where the real self-discovery starts to happen. Sitting in silence, right? And you know what? When you are choosing to sit in silence, when people ask you, why isn't there music on? Why aren't you watching TV? Why don't you have your phone, right? We must learn to say, you know what? As unnerving as you might find this, I didn't ask you to join in. See, me choosing to sit here in silence, me choosing to reflect on my life quietly doesn't involve you. So you don't have to like it. You don't have to understand it. This is about me. This is my self-care. Right? And so, Brooks, you say that this is where you have an issue. So maybe you can start with 15 minutes, right? For those of you who are like, I cannot disconnect, maybe you start with 15 minutes. And you set a timer on your phone and you walk away from it. You find somewhere to be. Set your phone on the opposite side of the room. Start that 15-minute timer and just go sit in silence. And then when that timer goes off, you can pick it up and resume your life. So that's just one way of doing it. But we must have a daily moment of silence to reflect. That is how we can also connect back with the universe. Some of us are missing out on walking in our purpose because we're not taking the time to connect back with the universe. And if you take even just 15 minutes a day to put your phone down, to turn the music off, and to just sit, as soon as you set your phone down, say, okay, God, What do you want me to hear today? Maybe you receive some sort of message. Maybe you don't. And you just say, okay, God, I'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place, right? Because a lot of us are just kind of missing out on where the universe is trying to guide us. And so for people who feel like they have no idea what their purpose is and they don't know necessarily what they're doing, maybe it's because they're not taking the time to listen to what the universe is telling them. And so that 15 minutes of silence could really, truly bless you. So just give it a try. Brooks, that's your plan this week. Starting today. It's still early. So starting today, you need to pick a time where you're going to put your phone down for 15 minutes. You're just going to ask the universe, what do I need to know? What's the message for today? Good, T. Chauncey. And that could be for all of you. It doesn't just have to be for Brooks, guys. I was just throwing out a suggestion for her situation. But all right, so number 4 was practice silent reflection. Number 5, prioritize what actually matters. Prioritize what actually matters. Thank you for the follow, Fly. Prioritize what actually matters. Not everything or everyone deserves your attention. I'm going to let that sink in for a second. Not everything or everyone deserves your attention. It is time for us to let go of pointless obligations, to cut off shallow relationships, right? I think that we've all reached a point in our lives where we need to begin to focus on things that truly add meaning to our lives. I am not for everyone. We've learned earlier this week that it's okay to be expensive because we're not for everyone. So it is important for us to be very intentional about who we allow to experience us. So we must begin to prioritize what actually matters. And it's what matters to us. Number 6 is another good one, you guys. Don't apologize for needing space. Don't apologize for needing space. If someone finds your need for space unfriendly or weird, guess what? That's their issue, not yours. That's their problem, not yours. You deserve to embrace your independence, and you deserve the ability to take all the time you need for you. So don't apologize for needing space. And here's another one. Oh my gosh, here's another one. Number 7. Wear what makes you feel powerful. I'm going to say that again because I feel like some of y'all are still dressing for society. Some of y'all are still trying to keep up with current trends, right? I need for you to wear what makes you feel powerful. Fly said, hell yeah. I need for you to begin dressing for you, not the world. And if that means you want black on black, baby, all the better. Right? If I decide to keep showing up Wednesday style, that's my business. Trey's mom, welcome in. The point is to feel completely yourself. Whether you're walking around in combat boots or whatever other dark comfort you might prefer, okay? You must begin to dress for you, not the world. There's something so comforting in loving the skin that we're in, loving ourselves and who we truly are. And it's not fair for us to keep suppressing who we are to please other people. Remember I said, we're past the point of wanting to chop ourselves up into tiny pieces to make it easier for other people to dissect, other people to digest, right? You're going to get me as I am. The Royal One, welcome in. Thank you, Fly. So again, number 7 was wear what makes you feel powerful. Blackberry, welcome in. Number 8, write down your thoughts. And I mean all of them. Journaling is the perfect way to get rid of what doesn't belong in your head. And so it might be dark, it may be chaotic, it might be funny, whatever it is, right? Write down your thoughts, every single one of them. It is better on paper than stewing inside of you. So again, journaling is the perfect way to get rid of what does not belong in your head. And for those of you who know me and hang around with me, you know that my journals have now manifested into the music that I put out for Room to Breathe. And so years of me journaling and writing down my feelings on paper, I have now turned the pages of my journal into music. And that music is now helping other people heal. So when I started taking all of my thoughts, all of my trauma, all of my past experiences and writing it down, that has now turned into something so beautiful. So grab you a journal. Kale just reminded y'all, go to selfcareclub.org. Get you a journal. And fellas, don't trip. I have journals for you too. I have journals for everybody. Yeah, listen. Fly says, and then y'all can burn the book so there's no evidence. Because if there's no face, there's no case, right? No face, no case. But yeah, you guys, seriously, journaling is very therapeutic. I'm just gonna say it like that. And as I already stated, it is the perfect way for you to get out what does not belong in your head. And then, you may have the opportunity down the line to let that entry be a blessing to someone else. There are people who have turned their journals or diaries into memoirs, right? Myself, I've turned it into music that I put out there for other people to heal through, right? So now people get to heal through the things that I've gone through. And how's that for growth, right? Not only did I come out on the other side, but now I get to allow my trauma to help someone else come out on the other side. And I promise you guys, it feels so good. When I pull up and hear someone listening to Room to Breathe, it feels so good. Number 9, I want you guys to find beauty in your own way. Hey, hubby, welcome in. I want you guys to find beauty in your own way. I need for you to understand that self-care doesn't have to look like what everyone else expects. If a midnight walk through the woods is your thing, I mean, just watch out for lions, tigers, and bears, right? Or maybe you would prefer to cuddle up on your favorite TikTok pillow and read a dark novel to restore yourself. Listen, I don't judge, right? Better watch out for freaky Jason, because the freaks come out at night, right, Fly? No, but seriously, self-care looks different for everyone. And so I think that a lot of times we are trying to fit into this self-care box. Right, Jennifer? Like, we're trying to fit into this stereotype of what other people think that self-care is. And that ain't it. That ain't it. So self-care is what makes you feel more like yourself. It's whatever brings you joy, whatever brings you peace. And lastly, number 10, you guys, accept yourself. I got a piece of hair in my face. Accept yourself, shadows and all. Accept yourself, shadows and all. Self-care is about embracing your whole self. Thank you, Fly. That includes the dark sides of you, the messy parts of you, the parts that you've grown up thinking are unpretty, right? The parts of you that other people find too much. It is time for us to begin to unapologetically and fully be who we are. Not who society is telling us to be, right? It is time for us to stop hiding in the shadows. We learned earlier this week that to have light, we must have dark. To experience the good, we must know some bad, right? We must find this balance. And so it is important in our healing journeys that we begin to accept ourselves as we are, flaws and all. Understanding that it is messy. Right, Blue Dream? Tony, welcome in. It is messy, y'all. But life is messy. And we're human. So it's okay for us to have a human experience. So again, just to recap for those of you who may have walked in a little late, I gave you some self-care tips. We did it Wednesday Addams style, y'all. We decided that we were going to set ruthless boundaries, embrace the solitude, say no often and proudly, practice silent reflection, prioritize what actually matters, don't apologize for needing space, wear what makes you feel powerful, write down your thoughts, and I do mean all of them. Hey, Lita, every single one of them. Find beauty in your own way and to accept yourself, flaws and all. Again, I want you guys to go out there to embrace your self-care rituals, whether they look traditional or, like I said, darkly unorthodox. We are going to embrace our solitude. We are going to begin saying no without apology. We're going to seek silence when we need to and accept ourselves without the need for external validation. Thank you, guys. Self-care is not and will never be about becoming what everyone else likes. It will always be about becoming who you like, who you love. So until next time, you guys, I want you to remember that real self-care doesn't ask you to change who you are, because you are enough as you are now. Self-care simply reminds you that you are enough exactly as you are. So as we wrap up today's episode, I want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. If you've enjoyed our time together, be sure to give us a follow, subscribe to our channel, so that way you never miss out on our latest content. And don't forget to visit our website at theselfcareclub.org. There you can book a personalized one-on-one coaching session. You can also check out our affirmative apparel and other motivational merch, including the Room to Breathe music, as well as a treasure trove of free resources waiting just for you. Whether you are looking to elevate your self-care game or you just need a little extra inspiration to help you get through the day, know that we've got you covered. I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of the Self-Care Club community today. And I'm excited to connect with you all again soon. But until next time, I encourage you all to keep breathing, stay positive, and to remember that you will always, always, always be supported here at the Self-Care Club. Don't be afraid to take up space and make a little room for you to breathe. I pray that each one of you have an amazing day on purpose, filled with purpose, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. Thank you.
I found my room to